Welcome to R.S.V.P. Listen to the show at your own risk. We will be discussing all taboo subjects like religion, sex, violence, and even politics. You should be ready for controversy, disagreements, face-offs, and maybe some downright rumbles. Well, sit tight and get ready for this week's episode. And by the way, if you're squeamish about obscenities, don't listen to our fucking show!
Hey everybody, it is Diane Daniels. Welcome to R.S.V.P. Today we got a hell of a show to talk about. Controversy. We are talking about the magnificent vagina. That's right. Women, you got to pay attention because we got things on here. Me and Bernie were like, what? We didn't even know some of this stuff. And men, you have to pay attention. You have to learn how to love your woman's vagina. Okay? It's very important. It puts life out in the world. Right, Bert?
Yeah, well, I think it does a little bit more than that. But honest to God, it was so interesting researching for this show because we could have done so many topics around the vagina. And I can't believe how much the word vagina and vaginas themselves as part of our body make women cringe. How much it is so taboo in 2020. Blew my absolute mind. Couldn't believe it. The women that I was talking to this week going, we're going to be talking about vaginas this week, right? And for me, it's like, a vagina is a vagina. It's what we've got between our legs. And it's like, oh my God, I know. I can't talk about that. They can't even say the word vagina. Go on, girls, practice it. Say it now with me.
3 syllables.
Vagina.
3 syllables. Too many syllables.
Too many what?
Syllables. They should have called it Ginny, Something with 1 syllable and everybody would have been okay, but vagina is too many syllables.
Oh, it's just, it does. It blows me away. I mean, really, here we are in 2020, like on a serious note. So we're definitely going to be like talking about funny things today, but there is like a serious message too that in 2020, a lot of women do not know enough about their vaginas. So they don't know about healthcare for it. They don't know about some of the conditions that we have. They don't know what to do or where to go. They don't know where to get diagnosis. And also
I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe that we could have talked about 100 things.
I know. It blows your mind, doesn't it?
It's crazy.
I know. Oh, cool. But yeah, no. So I thought the first place that we would. Okay, well, I thought the first place that we would start would be, because apparently saying the word vagina is just so difficult, is the slang around vagina. Now, when I did research on this, I had no idea. There are literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of slang words for vagina. Alrighty. But I'm going to give you a little bit of a history. Wait,
let me see how many I can guess. I don't know a lot. Let me just see if they're on the list.
Go on.
All right. PP.
Nah, that's not on my list.
All right, pussy.
Mushy?
Pussy.
Did you say mushy?
Jesus, no. Pussy. Like a kitty cat.
Oh, pussy. Yeah, that's on my list. That's on my list.
Oh my God. All right, how about the cha-cha?
Yeah, no, that's not on my list either.
Where did you get this list?
You would be surprised. My list is actual slang names through history.
Yeah, okay, well, it didn't take up 2 of mine. How about beaver?
Nah, that's not on there yet either. It'll be in there somewhere, amongst all this. It's not on there.
All right, how about the VJJ?
No, that was Oprah. She was the one that coined
Why
that
is it on
phrase.
the list? All right, I don't know what
Okay.
list this is, but this is, you don't have anything. No China? China.
Hey, oh, well, actually, that's what I call it. I call it China because that rhymes with vagina.
Right.
That's my own thing. Like, like a girl that, make sure that your China's looked after, etc. That's my kind of thing. Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready because obviously I don't know where this list came from. Okay.
Well, okay. So according to author and historian M. Geller, the first appearance in the Oxford English Dictionary in 1972 saw the word, and I want you to see if you can guess what this slang word is, Di. Saw the word having been first sighted in London in 1230. Okay, so 1230 as the street name Grope Cunt Lane, which was a supposed red light district. So can you guess, Di, the slang word that rhymes with that?
With the what? With what?
Well, if you were saying that it's named after a street name called Grope Cunt Lane.
Grow? I can't even understand you, woman. Jesus.
Oh my God. It's called, let me spell it for you.
Yeah, come on.
Gropecuntee.
No. I don't want to say that word. I hate that word.
I know.
That was a real street in London?
Needless to say, though, 1230, that's when that name became slang for vagina. So that's where we started in 1230. I can't hear you.
Bastards over there. Okay. I hate that word.
I hate that word too. And guys, if you do not have one of these, as in like a vagina or starts with C, ends with T, you do not get to use that word ever. Alrighty? Just note to self. We start off with that in 1230.
Hey, that's Elena Bobbitt will happen if a guy says that. That's it. Bobbitt time. Bobbitt. Yeah?
She's resorted to violence so early in the show. Okay.
All right, give me something I can handle.
Are you ready? Are you ready? In the 1700s, Venus honeypot.
Venus honeypot?
Yeah.
Hi,
in the
baby,
1800s.
Let me get in your Venus honeypot. Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
In the 1800s, Quim whiskers.
Quim whisker? Oh, my God.
Yeah, whiskers, yeah.
All right. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Okay. In 1538, love, your vagina was called your purse.
The purse.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
So all of us that are running around with our purses today, in 1538, if we said that, we'd be effectively saying we're running around carrying our vaginas.
Well, can I just say something to you? Because I've told all my friends about this when I went to Australia and the trouble I had because the friggin' culture and the words are so different. You tell me, what does a fanny mean in Australia?
To us is a vagina.
It's a vagina, right?
Yeah.
I almost got shot for saying that in Australia. Just so you know.
What is it in the US?
A fanny pack? A fanny is your butt. It's your butt. Your fanny is your butt.
Fanny is your butt?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a whole other show. That's a whole other show.
I almost got shot telling a cop, I'm going to reach into my fanny now. That's what I said.
Why were you telling the cop you were going to reach into your butt?
No, in Australia, she thought I was saying I was going to reach into my vagina. Right?
Yeah.
I know.
She was a touch disturbed.
Oh, God. Anyway, give me some current terms. Let me hear what the idiots are saying.
No, we're going through the ages. We're taking a trip down memory lane, right?
Bernadette, we'll be here tomorrow night.
Because I think this next one is quite amazing. In the 1600s, it was called the Chapel of Ease.
The Chapel of what?
Ease.
Spell it.
EASE. Couple of these. 1638, your vagina was called your tinderbox.
Uh-huh.
In 1768, it was called the bookbinder's wife.
The bookbinder's wife.
The bookbinder's wife. Yeah.
Too long.
In 1823, it was called Jack Nastyface.
Jack.
In 1888, this one is particularly lovely. It was called the cock trap.
Oh, jeez.
And in 1941, it was called Futz, as in Futz. 1987 was called Glamity.
1989,
it was called the Love Glove. And
the love, wait. The love,
it was called the Love Glove.
Oh, glove. Okay.
Glove, yeah. And then in 2001, it was called the Breakfast of Champions.
Now we're talking.
Then we go up to more known ones like, Beaver, Mufti, Love Taco, etc., etc. So there you go. Hey, I got a quick story though.
Yeah.
So my brother-in-law lives in Switzerland, right? And he came over to Australia on a holiday. We're driving through the country, and then there's this little store that's got this sideboard on the side of the road, and it's got a sign there that says mushies, $6.90 here. And he's looking at it, he started laughing, and we go, what are you laughing at, right? And he goes, does that say mushies, $6.90? And I said, well, we say mushies, $6.90. But mushies in Swiss or in German means vagina, or it actually means C-U-N-T-S, right?
Oh, my God.
So he was laughing because he was saying, oh, my God. He goes, you're selling vaginas for $6.90 on the side of the road in Australia.
I'm telling you, you Australians have too many words that mean vagina, okay? You're messing us all up around the world.
I know, love. It's our slang. It's because we're bloody convicts. It's where we come from. We're a mishmash of everything over here.
I'm telling you. All right. Well, give me a little more history now that we got those wonderful love terms. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So look, getting onto a bit of a more serious note about why can't we say the word vagina even in the year 2020? So,
right.
A little bit of history. So some of this stuff is hilarious. So around the 1680s, before then the Latin word vagina referred to a scabbard or a sheath or a sword, which is kind of the opposite to what a vagina really is, right?
Exactly.
A vagina is not really shaped like a sword.
No.
But there was an ancient Greek physician. He believed that the uterus wandered about the female body like an animal within an animal, causing illnesses as it banged into the spleen or the liver. He also believed that it was drawn to fragrant smells, such that the physician could lure it back into its rightful place by presenting the vagina with pleasant scents.
Okay, and what's this doctor's name?
Artesius. Aretaeus.
Okay, never heard of him, and that's why. Because he was an ass. Okay. What the hell? Who thinks that there's another living thing and it's running around the body? I bet you he didn't last long as a doctor. My God.
I'm not quite sure, love, how long he laughed, but that's so interesting about how oblivious we are to the woman's body, not just our vaginas, but the woman's body. In the 2nd century AD, we had a doctor who's going, so this is a visualization, so I want you guys to visualize this. Think first, please, of the man's genitals turned in and extending inward between the rectum and the bladder. If this should happen, the scrotum would necessarily take the place of the uteri with the testes lying inside, next to it on either side. So they actually believed that a woman's genitals was actually a man's genitals turned inside out. Imagine being a woman.
And that just happened by chance automatically.
Yeah.
That just naturally happened.
Yeah. But that's what they actually thought.
Okay, send him over with Aristotelides or whatever the other guy's name is. He didn't last long either. Okay.
But you know what?
Do we got Hippocrates in there? Let's get a good doctor. Hippocrates, is he in there?
No, he's not in here, Dolls. Yeah, no.
Because he knows what he's talking about, okay? We got all these bozos here. Go ahead.
But look at this, though, right? It wasn't until 1994 that the US National Institute of Health actually mandated that the most clinical trials include women. So up until 1994, as women, we were actually excluded from medical trials as an entire gender.
Wait a minute, I don't understand that.
So when you do medical trials, right, and you're trying to learn about what's going on in people's bodies, up until 1994, that was the first time that women got mandated that we would be included in medical trials.
Well, okay, so I don't know under which little medical whatever association did that, but back in the 60s, Kinsey was doing sexual trials with men and women all the time.
Yeah, but where they're talking about mandated clinical medical trials where it was an actual, not somebody going off and discovering stuff in themselves. There were heaps of people that did that through history, but this is actually mandated medical trials so that they could get a group of women in, for instance, who were experiencing menopause and do clinical trials on them to see what treatments could be had or not had. So that was only introduced in 1994. Before then, many drugs were never tested on women at all. So they were tested on men, they were not tested on women. And what that meant is that a lot of drugs were going, yep, okay, because we tested it on man, that means it's okay for women. So then women would take these drugs and, of course, it didn't actually suit the physiology of a woman. And so then women would be having, obviously, really bad side effects from taking this medication because it actually wasn't suited to their physique and their biology. How crazy is that?
Very crazy. Yeah, maybe we should go back to the way it was because, you know, women always have the longer years life, you know, lifespan.
Yeah.
So let's go back to that because probably now, since we're taking the medicine and we're in the trials, we're probably going to be right down there with the men. We should go back. They're the ones screwing us over there, see?
True, they are. So it wasn't really until the 1970s that women's health and the vaginas actually came about where people were kind of talking about it and we were doing trials on it and we were doing studies and that we're actually starting to learn about the difference between your vagina and your vulva. Like a lot of women don't even know that. And, I mean, talking about not being able to say the word vagina and not even able to advertise it and why we come up with all of these slang words, the Codex company planned a TV commercial, and this is in 2010, right? So this is not in like the 1960s or 50s. And it mentioned pads and tampons, and they also had the word vagina in there because that's where the products were going to be used. And after 3 broadcasting networks told the company that it couldn't use the word vagina, Codex filmed the ad with the actress using the phrase down there. So this is in 2010. So in 2010, we couldn't even have Codex advertising women's personal hygiene products that we need for our vagina because we couldn't say the word vagina.
So that's, I don't know, it just made me think because you said that with the Codex and crap. Do you know that here in America, a lot of women call their period their friend?
They call it their friend. Is that because they can't say the word menstruation or period?
Yeah, right. Well, they'll say period before, forget menstruation. Nobody says that. Nobody.
Yeah.
It's either, I got my period or I got my friend. That's what they say. Everybody says that. Here, anyway.
Well, I guess the friend like can kind of connotes that it's like a friendly kind of relationship, that at least they're embracing it as opposed to rejecting something that's a natural form of like your being and your body as a feminine person.
Well, anyway, true.
Okay, and get this, just a stat, right? In 2013, this is a survey of US University found out that only 38% of college women could correctly label the vagina on an anatomical diagram. So they actually could only, that means 38% of women are the only ones that actually knew where their vagina actually was. 20% of college men, and beating out. So 20% of college men could find it, but 38% of women couldn't. Oh, my God. And fewer than half of all women in an international survey said that they're comfortable discussing vagina-related issues with their healthcare provider. And they're just saying that women's genitals are still so sacred or taboo that we can't even talk about them at all. If we do talk about them, they're a dirty joke. And that's the reason why we wanted to do a show on the vagina, to let people out there, including women, know it's not a dirty joke.
And let me tell you something. They don't really teach you that much in school about it. They don't put up a chart and have everybody run up there and label all the parts, okay? They just don't do as good about that. And unless you take anatomy and physiology in freaking college, you're not going to know it either. You just know the two main parts. That's it. Two. You know about the clitoris and the actual cervix vagina. That's it.
Well, I mean, but they're also talking too about, like, in this day and age, women have got so much access to so much information, but a lot of it is misinformation as well. So, and it's based on, like, what's the perfect vagina look like? You know, if we get to that today, we're going to talk about, you know, vaginal rejuvenation and all of that kind of stuff. So women have got this skewed view of what their vagina is and isn't, based on all of this misinformation that's out there as well.
Well, let's take a look at some vagina pictures, okay? Let's take a look. All right, let's look at number one. And we're going to talk about how women have been shaving their pubic hair across the decades, okay? So there you are in the 1940 au naturel, right?
Yeah.
And as you can see, as we progress, look at that. The pubic hair is getting smaller and smaller and smaller until we got the mohawk in like 2000. And now in 2012, we're looking like friggin' Barbie dolls, okay?
I mean, I know. And I mean,
what the hell?
Well, each to their own about what you want to do with that, obviously. But, I mean, when I look at pictures like that, I find that kind of slightly disturbing, that we're taking our bodies back to a physical form that looks prepubescent.
No shit, Sherlock. Yeah, that's exactly Barbie doll. That's it. It's disgusting.
Yeah, which again, and you'll notice too, like, you know, a lot of the pictures that you're seeing in magazines, etc., if you actually ever do see the picture of a real vagina, is it's all smoothed over. So it definitely looks like a Barbie doll, where the reality is something that's quite different. And that's why women are going off and getting, you know, vaginal rejuvenation, because they want to have their vaginas looking like Barbie.
Okay,
and there's very little medical
I'm sorry.
reasons
They're only. I can't even imagine why they're only doing that. I can only think about it is for their sexual partner. I'm sorry. What the hell? Why would a woman need to do that?
Well, I don't know, because I've not done that myself, and I don't really know anybody personally myself. So if there's anybody out there that has done that and you'd like to let us know why you've done that, you know, all judgment-free zone, and you've got an opinion
free zone,
on it, like, you know,
judgment-free.
Yep. Talk at R.S.V.P.podcast.com. I mean, I guess it would be around how you feel about yourself. I guess there'd be a great element of that's involved in it. But again, where does that come from? So is the pressure coming from these unrealistic expectations that we've got through media about what it is we are supposed to look like as women? And if we don't look like that, what message is that? You know what?
Well, that's exactly what it is. All modeling, all media, all TV is all about looking thin and sexy, and anything that can have to do in regards to sexual gratification for the audience is where they want to go. So that's it. That's where a lot of these women are getting this from. It's right from the media.
And I think also too, it's interesting to do some stats on this, and I mean maybe we'll do another show about this, about the vaginal rejuvenation and the reasons why behind it. But I think it'd be interesting to get the stats on that. If that there's pressure, yes, from social media and about how we're supposed to look and present ourselves and how we feel about ourselves and our self-esteem, as compared to pressure from sexual partners, whether it's male or female, that in order for you to be attractive, you need to look a particular way.
Exactly. Now, I can understand a lot of women with bathing suits, right? Whether it's a one-piece or two-piece or bikini.
Yep.
They don't want pubic hair sticking out from
Yep.
their swimsuit, and I understand that. Okay, that's fine.
Yep.
So you do your little bikini trim or whatever you're doing, and that's a personal, way you want to look, and that's for yourself. That a woman I know feels that way. They want to do that for themselves. But to shaving all the pubic hair off so you look like a friggin' Barbie doll, I'm not saying if you're doing it because that's really what you want to do, then you go for it, woman. Okay, that's fine. But don't do it for your partner. Okay, you got to do what you feel comfortable about. That's your body. Right? I mean that's your body.
We're talking about and we're talking about like the shaving or waxing, right? So the Brazilian, as it's called. But vaginal rejuvenation goes further, where women are actually having their labias cut down and cut off and trimmed,
we're not talking about that now. Don't get me crazy. Hey, don't get me crazy on that. You'll drive me nuts.
Yeah. Actual surgery.
Let's look at another
so you
picture.
Can physically look like that.
Hey, let's look at a picture now. Let me know, what does this look like, number 2 to you? What does this look like, Bern? This is a good picture. It's number 2. What do you think that looks like?
Yep. Oh, my mother that did
Somebody got served that at dinner time.
That looks like a vagina to me.
There you go. Okay, so that was perfect. She wanted to know if she should tell her mother or forget about it.
Yeah, no. But see, again, tell your mum. Have a conversation about a vagina and say, hey, mum, this looks like a vagina. What do you think? Start opening up conversations between women of all ages around vaginas. I mean, I can't believe that it's still such a taboo topic and it can't be expressed or talked about. Crazy.
Well, we're trying to open it up right here on the R.S.V.P show.
Well,
if you do have any comments, please send us an email. Send it to talk@rsvppodcast.com. We'll be happy to take your questions or your comments, and Bernie or I will get back to you. We don't have any virtual assistants or anything like that. We'll get back to you ourselves. All right, here we go. Here's number 3. What do you think, Bern?
Yep. I think the color. I think the color is quite poignant as well.
That's pretty good, right?
Definitely.
Do you know what that really was?
It's an oyster, right?
Very close, I'm sure. It was a clam. So that was our clam that looked like a vagina. Somebody got served that at dinner and said, let me talk about this and take a picture.
Oh my God.
All right, here we go. What do you think? Last one. Last one. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, obviously that would go back to one of those earlier pictures in the 40s or the 50s with that growth going on there. That would not be representative like most vaginas today, I wouldn't imagine.
Well, yeah, that's a lot of pubic hair, but that was a piece of land, Mother Nature, that looked just like the vagina and the pubic hair, huh?
Well,
my God, it's
perception's
amazing.
Perception's everything, isn't it? Huh?
Oh, Lord. All right. So we talked about some slang words for vaginas. We talked about the history of vaginas. We showed you how you can have fun with vaginas when you're out in the real world and things that could look like vaginas. Now we got to talk about unbelievably sad but true. Me and Bertie learned about this. Is the depressed vagina. It's depressing. You get depressed.
And we're laughing because when I started doing research, this came up, and I'm going, "What the what?" We have a vagina that's depressed, and I think maybe to start it all off, we might just go straight to the video if we can, please, John.
Let's go to the video.
And speaking of uncomfortable.
Okay. You can put your legs down now. It is not a yeast infection.
It's not?
I have an entire file of women, all with the same symptoms: itching, stinging, burning. All of them think they have a yeast infection. It's not. It could be vulvodynia.
Is it serious?
No, it's mostly just uncomfortable. We can get it under control. I'm going to prescribe a light antidepressant.
But I'm not depressed.
It's not for you. It's for your vagina.
Your vagina's depressed?
The mood elevator sort of corrects the imbalance.
Wait a minute, how do you know your vagina's depressed?
There's symptoms.
Like what? It can't meet its deadline?
It always wants to go to Krispy Kreme.
Oh, ha ha, it's so funny. My vagina's depressed.
Oh, there you go. That's it. Thank you, John. That's perfect. Oh my God, is that hysterical?
I know. I mean, I've never heard of it before myself, and I guess this is what I'm talking about. Like, you know, the ignorance out there, even like for us as women, about stuff that's going on, you know, for us in our vagina world. I mean, that's obviously Sex in the City. That's a couple of years old now. Hey, John, just let you know I got feedback in my earphones. Anyway, so that's talking about your depressed vagina, right? So, and I love the fact, like, how do you know you're depressed? Your vagina's depressed. Like, you know, it keeps wanting to go to Krispy Kreme's, wants to eat a whole bucket of ice cream.
Yes. Well, we have a special term, right? Is a real term for this. Tell them what the term is.
Yeah,
I know our audience
yeah.
is
So
dying to hear it.
the real term for this is called vulvodynia, okay? And it's a real thing. And in fact, it's so real that in the US alone, it affects between 200,000 and 6 million women there a year. So John's got some info up there. It's the National Vulvodynia Association. And apparently what it happens is it can strike you at any time. They've actually got no known cause for it. So you can be of any kind of age when it strikes you. And the women that get it describe it as the pain is just intense and it's just extreme, comes without warning. The pain's chronic, so you've got stinging, itching, throbbing, swelling. And apparently sex is extremely, extremely painful when you've got it. And as they mentioned in the clip there, so they do have treatments for it and they prescribe antidepressants. So they're not really sure why antidepressants tend to work or help, like with some of the symptoms that women get with it. But hence, that's why it's called a depressed vagina, not because your vagina is actually depressed. Or, I mean, I imagine if you had something that's a chronic pain like that and that you couldn't enjoy sex or have sex, and some of these women can't even stand any clothing, like, you know, like near their vaginas or anything like that. So I imagine that the feeling of that, especially ongoing, if you can't get any relief from it, probably would make you feel shit about yourself and would make you feel depressed as well.
And so, yeah, I know another treatment would be also to, not that you have to fight through the pain, but if you could tolerate a little bit of sex, have as much as you can without having the terrible pain, and then increase the frequency of it also, right?
Yeah. Well, they're actually saying that that's something that, I mean, guys are going to love this, I guess, and girls out there, is that if you have a lot of sex, it's something that can actually ward off you developing vulvodynia. However, once you have it, having sex is normally so painful that a lot of these women, you know, it interrupts their entire intimate relationships because they actually can't even have sex because the pain is just too great. And I mean, you can imagine, you know, some of their stories about with their partners about trying to have sex and how many of these women like to say that the relationships fail because there's no known cure for it. And some of them have it for years and years and years. And, like, you know, they might try other treatments. I've heard that some of them try acupuncture. So it's one of those things. And unfortunately, it's misdiagnosed a lot of times too. So a lot of doctors don't know about it. And a lot of women out there don't know too. So they're just putting up with this chronic disease that they've got and they don't even really know why they have it.
Well, if you feel like you might have a depressed vagina, please go speak to your professional doctor. Do some research. That's exactly what we did to find out about it. Okay. And if you have any questions or comments, or if you'd like to get that, the URLs for the 2 sites that we put up and you couldn't write it down, just send us an email to talk@rsvppodcast.com. And if you're listening to the podcast, please come on to webeamtv.com or go on to our Facebook page, facebook.com, Diane Bernie, Berni show. And so you can watch us and see how funny we are in person, never mind listening to us. So come on over and take a look at us here also. So now, Bernie, I've got something hysterical for us to watch. And this woman is dead serious. Okay, this woman is a gymnast, and she's from Russia. Okay, and her name is Tatiana Koshchevenikova, something like that, right? You know. And I've got this little video. We got to watch it. It's under 2 minutes long, but it's about her vagina. Let's take a look at this.
Vagina questions. Awkward. How did you first discover you had a very strong vagina?
Ну, я, наверное, не обнаружила. У меня не были сильные мышцы, были как у обычной женщины.
I haven't just stumbled upon this talent. I had normal vaginal muscles like any other woman.
20 лет.
But I've achieved it through 20 years of vigorous training.
Вводится вот такой вот вагинальный.
I insert this wooden egg equipment.
Вводится
And then you just
мышцами держится.
tighten your vaginal muscles and hold the egg inside.
Нет, его вообще вводится в специальное, кладется насадка для УЗИ или как презерватив, да?
And then you put it in a condom.
Safe lifting. We should always follow those guidelines. Right, Tatiana. Well, we've got some different size weights. Book her up, and best of luck. Wow, it's 3 kilograms. About the same weight as one of Jessie's honeydews. Wow, 5 kilograms.
Oh, God.
The same weight as one of these watermelons. Wow, 6 kilograms. That's the same as both of them. Tatiana, incredible.
Amazing.
Yikes, that brought a tear to my eye. Is there perhaps an elaborate network of pulleys and ropes? Can we see the egg? And there it is, clean as a whistle. The amazing Tatiana Konjevnikova.
Oh my God. Okay, what do you think? Friggin' crazy.
I'm actually quite speechless. I mean, honest to God, I'm not sure what my facials look like when I was watching that. But old mate's facials when he was watching that, he was like going, oh my God.
Okay, so
How does one even discover you want to do that?
The heaviest one was 14 pounds.
Oh my God, I can't even. I mean, I'm just going to put this out there.
Bernie, go buy a wooden egg and shove it in there and start squeezing the wooden egg. And in a couple of years, you could do just like Tatiana.
I think if I did that, Sean might run for the hills. I think he might be a little bit scared of what might happen.
It's not official. I don't know why, but she's got the world's strongest vagina. Okay? I say absolutely she does.
Well, I say all power to her, but like I just wonder, how does one even discover that that's what you want to do in life? Like, how do you go, like, you know, do you wake up one day and go, I want to have the strongest vagina in the world?
Well, so she wanted to increase the strength of her vaginal muscles. That's how it started.
Right. And
Okay.
so did she want to do that because that was like a medical reason, or?
I don't know if it was for sexual pleasure or for a medical reason, but she claims she has the best sex ever.
Right.
So, anyway.
I mean, I imagine that she would. I imagine that, you know, she would. I mean, you know, she's having heterosexual sex. I mean, those guys are going to go like, oh, my God, really? That's if they're not running screaming because they might be scared she might be a little bit too strong for them. Just saying.
On the other hand, I don't know. They might like it. She can really hold it in there, right? All right. right.
Yes, Di. I've got a visual on that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Tatiana. All right. Now we're going to talk about sex toys, okay?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Hey, John,
right,
just so you know, we've got echoing.
So I'm going to show you, this picture is the top 5 sex toys that have been selling like hotcakes on Amazon since the COVID-19. So here we go. Picture number 8.
God. Yep.
There you go. So we've got our typical.
I like the colours.
Well, yeah, of course, you got to have color. Everything's got to have color. So you have your typical G-spot vibrators, your dildos, and your cock rings and stuff, whatever. Okay, so those are, people know what those are, okay?
Yes, they do.
They do. But in 2020, the rage is on to get a toy that can be as close to oral sex satisfaction as possible. And I've got the top 4 toys that are as close to oral sex as you can get to have an oral sex. You ready?
Righto. Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go.
All right, here we go. Here's the number 9, the first one. This is called the Blowfish toy. Okay? All right? It is 2 toys in one, Bernie. It can have
2
one
for the
end
price
is
of 1.
Oh hell, 2 for the price of 1, right? So one end you can see is the suction end, and the other end is it has a little vibration and it moves, so it's like a tongue-like thing. All right? So that costs $21.60 at ellaparadise.com. Okay?
Right.
That was the low end there. All right.
And I imagine like you get instructions with that, because I don't know about you, but I had a look at that blowfish scenario and I don't know. I'm not quite sure if I'd know what to do and where to do it and where to put that kind of thing. But I do like the colours.
Bernie. We're talking about oral sex. So if that was for a woman,
I know.
it only goes in one place. One place, Bird. It only fits in one place. All right?
I reckon we should pass that on to Tatiana, see what she got to say about that. Oh.
Hey, be careful, or she might suck that right up there and hold on to it.
Disturbing.
She might hold on to it there. All right.
Oh.
Here's the second toy.
It'd be a deflated blowfish. That looks decidedly phallic to me.
Oh, well, yeah, but it is called the Flicking Tongue Vibrator. The Flicking Tongue Vibrator. All right, it is supposed to give some of the best orgasms in existence.
Right.
Okay, so it vibrates.
And I mean, what's that made out of? Do you know? Is that like what's that casing? Is that soft? What? Is it spongy? I mean, because that looks very.
Am I the inventor? Am I the inventor? I'm just telling you about the toy. Now you want to know what it's made out of? Why? You worried you're allergic to it? So you got to make sure you're not allergic to it when you order it.
No, I'm just thinking. It looked a touch hard there. So I'm just kind of to imagine, like, you know, the tongue flicking action. I'm going like, oh my God, it just looks like it would be a little bit harsh.
It's not like a cake spatula, for Christ's sake. All right? I think it's made out of latex. I don't know. I'll look it up and tell you after the show.
I think that you should have researched a little bit deeper, love.
Oh my God. All right, well.
No pun intended.
$72.05. And that you can purchase
that's quite a price jump.
Well, hey, I just told you it's supposed to give you one of the best orgasms in existence with a sex toy.
Well, you know what? I always trust good reviews. Well, as long as they've got enough of them.
It's called, go to lovehoney.com. as opposed to whatever love box you had in the 1700s over there. This is love honey.
Yeah. It's that seed's the Venus honeypot.
Venus, there you go, Venus honeypot. So this one is
the Venus
love
honey. The Venus honeypot. It's been rejuvenated.
Oh Lord! All right, here we go. Here's the next one, and this is the top of the line, baby. Top of the line. This is called the Lilo Aura 2. Okay. You place that on your clitoris, all right, and then the rotating beads that are inside the circle, they go around like a tongue, and the sensation is supposed to be just like a tongue.
Right. So really, we've got all of these amazing tools. So the race is on to get the one that's like, the closest to stimulating and simulating oral sex.
Exactly.
So basically, as a partner, you're going to be made obsolete then, really, right? Because, if you're going to get the best orgasms in the world from Lalo.
Well, listen, it's all about timing in the world of orgasms, I think.
Oh my God! So these are the top selling
you might
toys,
be
like,
in the
over
mood
COVID?
and your partner's not available. You're in the mood and your partner's not available, so that's what they're saying. Here you go. Get the Lilo 2, and it's going to be the best thing since your partner.
I think that we're going to have all kinds of self-esteem problems.
Okay, but in the meantime,
I think if Lalo takes over and she does a better job than your partner, I think we're going to have a whole shitload and avalanche of relationship issues because people are going to feel like they're being obsolete. That's what I think is going to happen.
All right, well, guess how much this costs. Guess how much?
$129.
Not a bad guess. $232 American dollars.
Well, I tell you what, somebody's making some good money out of orgasms, right?
They sure as hell are. Now, not to leave the men out. I know we're talking about vaginas, but I felt bad. I did not want to leave the men out, but this is the number one sex toy that delivers the best orgasm for oral sex on the market. And here we go, a little drum roll. That is
I'm not sure what that even looks like.
It's the FLS Kit Red, baby. It's the full tube. You got it going for you. This thing even has a window that shows you how the device is working. It has 2 motors. It has sensors, and you download an app on your phone. Okay? This thing is top notch for men. It's all in one, ready to go, baby.
Oh my God. And I mean, how typical is it though that it's got to have 2 motors and a window so you can see how the mechanics are working? Honestly, does that not just tell you everything about the difference between male and female?
Listen, God bless those marketing people. They know.
Phone. What is the app on the phone for?
Oh, I think you can keep track of your orgasms and which speed and what happened and go faster, go slower. I don't know. It's got sensors on it, for God's sakes. Adjust the sensors. God.
So then you get your app, right? And your mate's got one. So you can have what's it called again?
It's called the F1S Kit Red.
So, of course,
and
red goes faster.
Guess who makes it? Come on.
Who?
Lilo.
Who?
Lilo.com. Lilo. That just made the Lilo Aura.
Oh, well.
Hey.
I'm happy to see that they're catering to both sexes. They got no gender bias going on there.
No, no. They got it going.
I'm just imagining, right? So you got the old LX154 in red, whatever that thing's just called, right? So I can imagine the guys can start having parties together where they can be looking at their app and going, yeah, well, you know what, like my X17, like, you know, did this many Ks on that yesterday, and yours did 5 Ks and whatever it is. Oh, my God. I can't believe that you've got an app there. I'd be really interested to know what that app's actually for.
Well, go look at. You can download the app. Go download the app.
Want to be having an app for an X57 that goes in red that I stick something in that I don't have to stick in there?
I'll show you. I'll download it. It costs the kit costs $169, and go to Lelo.com. That's Lelo. So Lelo's got the corner market on the oral sex. That's it. They got the top 2 products that stimulate and simulate the best oral sex out there. So if that's what you're into, go to Lelo.
Are these part of the top selling products through COVID as well?
Oh, no. Those were on Amazon for people that didn't even know that the oral sex stuff was out there. This is the current stuff. This is it. Top notch, top of the line, ready to go, oral sex toys. Boom.
You're cutting edge, love. You're cutting edge, right?
I am cutting edge, baby. That's it.
Well, I tell you what,
listen.
Today we've travelled from 12:30 right up to 2020 in the whole world and the history of vaginas, and there was so much more we could have packed into this too.
Forget about it. We're going to talk for 8 hours on the vagina. Easy, 8 hours. But so the one big thing is that, come on, girls, you can say the word vagina. It's not the most pleasant word. It's not my favorite word. You know, I like to say China too. I like China, even though I don't want to, don't think about the country, but, it's easier to say. See, 1 syllable, Bernie. I told you, 1 syllable.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand how you're saying, like, you're thinking vagina's a bit of a tongue twister, love. But I think, have your pet names and all of that kind of stuff. The things that I don't agree with, though, is like when we're using slang and it's derogatory terms. Talking about like women's vaginas. And the other thing that I don't agree with is that in 2020, we can't say the word vagina like out in the media. And the messaging that gives women is that somehow or other, that's a part of our body that needs to be hidden, or it's a part of our body that needs to be made less of, or that we need to be embarrassed about, or, that we just don't talk about it. It's not something that you bring out in the open. But
you got to. People have got to start talking about it. Just talk about it.
Yeah, but get educated as well, because part of the messaging that's happening is that women themselves are feeling embarrassed about their own body parts. So therefore they're not being educated about vaginal health and vaginal diseases and what treatments are available, and that you're not in it alone. One of those websites that we put up there, the Vaginas Society, have got stories of women there that have actually got depressed vaginas or validemia. And when you hear and you read some of their stories, it's so sad. You're talking about women that can literally not have relationships because they've got this illness. And there are millions of women around the world that have got that, and so many of them are undiagnosed or misdiagnosed.
Well, they need to take some action. You have to take action. You can't just sit there. It's just like any other depression. You can't sit there and wallow. You must say you need help. Get some help. Yeah. Go research on the internet first. Then call your own doctor if you feel comfortable, and talk to them, or a person you feel comfortable talking with, whether it's your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, or significant other, whoever, family member, friend, and start talking about it, because you're not alone. Okay, any of you that feel this way, there are millions of people that have this. So send us an email if you need the links again, to talk@rsvppodcast.com. We'll be happy to send it to you. Any questions regarding it, we're happy to help you or send you some information about it. So there you go. That's all about vaginas for the day, Bernie. And we got to figure out what the hell we're going to talk about next week. Are you ready to spin the wheel?
I know. Yep. Go on. Spin that, baby.
You ready to spin it?
Spin it, love. Go on. Get it out there.
Can you see it?
Oh, look at you go. You've got it right in the screen this time too. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Go on.
Oh, not another wild.
It is. Another wild card.
Oh, people are in for it now.
Your turn to pick the topic this week. For those of you who don't know, Di and I get together privately on a Tuesday morning, and we flesh out, so to speak, our topics. And honestly, the behind the scenes stuff that goes on about us going argy-bargy and backwards and forward, like will we, won't we, what will we do? And Di's reaction when I sent her a text saying, okay, drum roll please, this week's topic is vaginas. Her text back was like, oh my God. So it's actually been really interesting, even for you and I, to actually open up the conversation about vaginas, right? Because prior to that, it is something that you feel kind of embarrassed about. And as women, we shouldn't. We should be celebrating it, especially woman to woman.
Hey, if the name was Butterfly, I would feel a lot better. I could say butterfly all day long, okay? My butterfly, my butterfly. Okay, but friggin' the word vagina is a dumbass, ugly word. I don't like the name. I don't even like the name penis, okay? So those are ugly ass words, whoever came up with them. They need to have pretty words. Pretty. Butterfly.
Yeah, I guess I don't agree with that. Oh my God, this is another show right here. Like we can't get into this because we're going to be going argy-bargy with each other and backwards and forwards. That's part of the problem, is the fact that we think that it's ugly. Your vagina's not ugly. The word's not ugly.
My vagina is fine. I love my vagina, okay? I don't like the name vagina.
But I guess
don't like
that's
the name.
part of the problem.
I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm sorry.
John
I'm going to invent a new word. I'm inventing it.
So for those, John, I don't know whether people heard that or not, but anyway, if you did or you didn't, John's talking about hoo-hoos and ha-has, and I think that that's another show there too, John. We'll have to get you on talking about your hoo-hoo and your ha-ha.
Well, Bernie, it was a great show.
We got to go.
We did a hell of a job, but we'll see you real soon next week. Love you.
All power to your vagina.
Welcome to R.S.V.P. Listen to the show at your own risk. We will be discussing all taboo subjects like religion, sex, violence, and even politics. You should be ready for controversy, disagreements, face-offs, and maybe some downright rumbles. Well, sit tight and get ready for this week's episode. And by the way, if you're squeamish about obscenities, don't listen to our fucking show!